West Sacramento. And let's have Mr. Bill Christoph lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance today. Welcome, everybody. Let's see, where, you have an extra pen? Oh, I got pens right here. Come on, right here. Yeah, good. So the first item is number 1. Please forgive me, I just came out of closed session, and Madam Attorney, I'm sorry.
She needs her telephone book so she can sit up.
Yeah. Is there anything to report out of closed session?
Yes, Chair McGowan, the commission received further information from its real property negotiator pertaining to the terms of a real estate negotiation.
All right, thank you very much. First item is item number 1, which is presentations by members of the public on matters not otherwise on the agenda. Is there anyone here this evening that wishes to speak on matters not otherwise on the agenda? I'm seeing no request to speak, and so we'll go on to our consent agenda, items 2 through 5. Any questions or comments on the consent agenda? Pardon? Number two? Okay, let's, on 3, 4, and 5, if there are no further questions, I have a motion to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous. Let's go back to number... Pardon, sir?
No, I was going to ask the attorney. On number 4, do we need to, are there some specific points that need to be made on that? And I don't know.
Bid award.
Okay.
On the bid award, no.
All right.
Okay, and we'll go back to number 2. Commissioner Johannesson?
Yeah, I think my only, I continue to look at these consulting contracts in particular with respect to, local hire and things of that nature. And I just like to maybe see, we don't have to do it now, but I'd like to see this pre-qualified list that staff is using. If we could do that at some point, and that's really the only comment. This was for environmental impact consultant work. One of the things that we're trying to do is look at what we've got locally here too.
Sure.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so then on that one, can we have a motion to approve number 2?
Second.
Moved by Oscar, second by Bill. All in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous. That takes us to our regular agenda, which is item number 6. This is consideration of an assignment and assumption of option agreement for the Stone Locks property. And Toby, you want that one, or?
Yes. I wanted to just refresh the Commission's recollection that back in March, the redevelopment agency assigned to the port an option to purchase the property that fronts the barge canal all the way to the river. It's about 213 acres, mostly on the south part of the barge canal, between Jefferson and the river. It's land that we acquired from, or at least an easement was removed from property owned by the port. The Corps of Engineers had that easement, and that freeing up that property made it suitable for development. This is a reassignment of that option agreement that was entered into in March. It's with a subsidiary of the Cordish Company, the same group of developers that we've been working with since really about 2006. And so that's the essence of this. I'd be happy to address any questions the Commission may have.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ross. First, I'll turn to the members of the Commission and ask, does anyone have a particular question they want to ask? None? I do have a card from Mr. Portelis, and is there any comment you want to make? Are you here to answer questions? Okay, and apparently there are any questions of Mr. Tillis? All right, no questions. I have nothing myself, and so, yes?
There's just I think it's a small little typo on page 2, paragraph 3A. I think the reference is to section 4E, not 4C. Minor.
That's probably true, and actually, I do have one set of changes that I'd like to distribute.
Toby probably typed these up himself, so we can expect some typos. Amy, you want to proofread those next time? It's pretty embarrassing.
This refers to Section 4, and there are just minor adjustments. In 4A, we've deleted a reference to the state legislation. We felt that that wasn't really helpful in our general mission of trying to have a fully executable document. It didn't really add anything to it. And then we've just reordered some of the information here just to clarify. Basically, they have to provide notice in B for certain time periods, and then after the notice, they would have to forfeit or give back the option no sooner than 30 days than the event of that actually triggered the notice. And that's to allow them to provide notice, but if in fact circumstances change, they could go ahead and satisfy the features, make the payment, for example, in that interim time frame. So both of these, I think, are clarifying language and don't really change the substance of what you saw earlier. But we would like you, if you take the action, to take it with these changes.
All right, first we'll ask any questions from members of the commission on the handout we just received with the clarifications. And Mr. Tellis, did you get a chance to see the handout? You familiar with this? Okay. All right, in that case,
Just like to make a comment.
yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, this is a project that we've been dealing with for, a number of months. And under the first reiteration, things really didn't look, I think, as favorable as they do now. And I'm really glad to see that staff and the Cordish group have worked some things out. I think it's very important that we have a development agreement. And so, and I think that development agreement is going to be something that it's going to be a key document. It's going to be something I think the whole community is going to read very closely. So I'd just like to say that good job, staff, and good job, Cordish, and glad to see things moving along.
And I'll translate that for you, ladies and gentlemen. That means that Billy loves a deal. All right. So is we're ready for action. Does anyone want to make a motion? Motion to approve would be in order, I believe.
I'll make the motion with the staff provided.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Hearing no abstention or objection, it's unanimous. That takes us into our general administration functions. Anything further, Mr. CEO?
Nothing for me, thank you.
Mike?
Yes, a couple things. Wanted to report that we are, one of the grants that we got earlier or in late 2009, early 2010 was for a license plate reader that was associated with a FEMA Homeland Security grant. That project has changed quite a bit in terms of our need for that device, and we're happy to report that we're going to be able to reprogram that money for additional Homeland Security cameras or similar devices, and we'll be bringing that back to you very shortly after we send the project or after we scope out the project. So that's a project that was of concern in terms of implementation, and it's being able to be hooked up to the police department and to be used for other uses. So that's very good news for us that we'll be able to reprogram that and bring it back to you for your consideration. Secondly, I wanted to mention that we've started off this year's rice season with a bang, if you will. We have had 2 rice ships to date. The Global Arrow started off our rice season, completing loading on November 7th. We just completed the Hibernia, a shipment of rice to Korea. That finished yesterday, and we have our 3rd vessel due in tonight, the Ocean Pearl, which will actually be an export bulk rice ship. will be in this evening to begin starting to load both paddy rice and milled rice. And then we have 3 more rice ships with ETAs in December, early January. So we've done our rice shippers, ADM and Farmers Rice, have done very, very well in early tenders for both Japanese and Korean rice. So starting off very well. And we're also happy to inform the commission that SSA was able to secure 2 additional windmill ships. Those will be coming, one before the end of the year and one after the beginning of the year. So starting the winter here very good in terms of shipping activity. Last thing, just wanted to give you an update on our rail projects, getting the port ready for unit train rail service. Sierra Northern has almost nearly completed the upgrade of the Washington transfer from the main line down to West Capitol Avenue. They have a few more minor items to go on that to be completed. And then they're also working diligently on the CEMEX track to finish that by the end of this month. And lastly, we're very close to a solution with Union Pacific for the Washington overpass to find a solution to upgrade that bridge to additional rail capacity service. So things are progressing very well in terms of our rail projects with our partners, SSA, CEMEX, and the port.
Can you clarify that, I'm sorry, the Washington overpass? What?
That's the bridge right here on West Capitol Avenue that crosses over. It has a weight limitation issue. Because it's an older bridge, and we're working jointly with Union Pacific and Sierra Northern and our engineering firm AECOM to look for a solution to upgrade that. We've found a solution that we're working through. UP is being very cooperative in that manner. We should have a solution very shortly.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. I think that's it. For those you may be wondering, we've got a model of our crane that we're going to be getting. You want to tell us? I mean, Mike went to a conference and all I got was this lousy crane model thing.
Yeah, that is the crane that the commission awarded a bid earlier this year on. It's a Liebherr 450. It's very, very close. That says Liebherr 500, but it looks almost identical to that crane. That crane will be loaded on November 27th in Germany for shipment to actually 3 cranes, one of ours and 2 for Stockton will be loaded the end of November, and for delivery late December, early January.
Can you just very quickly give us a snapshot update on that whole project?
On the Marine Highway?
Yeah. Because
Sure.
that's what this is for, basically.
Sure. Well, in terms of our project, we have 3 activities, 3 pieces of infrastructure. The mobile harbor crane, which we just mentioned, the strengthening of the dock to hold that project, and that project is actually under construction right now. And then you just let the third part of that, or approved the third part of that this evening, which is a container freight service building, which will be a building to use to top off containers for the barge service to allow heavyweight containers to be loaded at the port. In terms of the entire project, between the 3 ports, the other 2 ports, Stockton and Oakland, are simultaneously working towards a June 2012 completion of all the infrastructure. At the same time, the Port of Stockton is very close to announcing a terminal operator for the first phase of the project. As you know, with this project, instead of trying to start it at both ports at the same time and risking both the business and grant funding for the project, we decided on purpose to focus on one port's activities as phase 1 and then move to Sacramento with phase 2, West Sacramento with phase 2. And so Stockton, we did a joint RFP with Stockton. Stockton selected the first phase. They haven't announced it yet, but a company to do the first phase of their startup, which will tentatively start in February, March of 2012.
Any guess when phase 2 would start? Or you wait and see?
At this point, it's hard to say, but approximately what we're hoping for is approximately a year later, in 2013, if all works well. Again, they haven't announced the name of the company in Stockton, but they've been in consultation with us. It is a very, very good company, very large company with actually, cargo, not only containers, but other cargo that they could bring to both ports, so.
And that was a result of some Tiger Grant funds we received?
Yes, yeah, that's the entire, with the 3 ports, the $30 million that was received for that, of which we received 8.
So in case anybody is curious about it, the Port of West Sacramento loves stimulus money. We will spend it wisely. All right, anything further? At least that's my take. I don't need that. All right, we're adjourned. Thank you very much.